Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. We're back at the liquor store, learning more and more things, and we'll talk more about the police shutting us down. First off, we changed our strategy a little bit and painted our new boards black, and it made such a huge difference. I can't believe I didn't think of that before. And we'll probably redo these, at least most of them. But eventually, we want to have advertisements like that on the windows, but we need our vendors to kind of make those and do those. And I don't know how long that will take or when they can get to it, especially considering our liquor license issues we have. They might not be very keen on doing a lot of that. So we are continuing with the remodel. We even thought about shutting down while we remodeled anyway. But since there's a drive-through, we thought we'd stay open and just have the drive-through for a while. But obviously, we got shut down by the city police yesterday. So we are completely closed. The counters are gone. So it's so much more open here now. I like it much better. We still have to figure out kind of where to put everything and how to rearrange the store. There's a lot to think about there. Again, a lot of times your vendors and distributors can help with that too. But again, we can't really sign our agreements and get signed up with them until we get our liquor license figured out. So it's a little bit tricky, and I'm not sure. Some may or may not help with that. But dealing with that issue before in my other liquor store, which is the heart of our liquor store issue, when they do help, it's great. It's fantastic. They can do a lot of good things, but it can also take some time, and it doesn't happen overnight. So we were trying to get things done pretty quick with the remodel so we could, stay open. We still want to get things done pretty quick, but it's maybe not quite as a rush now since we can't be open until we figure out our issues. However, I think we can figure out our issues relatively easily, and it's something a lot of other people do. We'll just have to see how all that goes. Now, while I was here, people kept trying to come to the drive-thru, so we have signs up. Say we're closed, unfortunately, but people keep coming through trying to use it. I'm like, I feel like there's more people trying to use our store now when we're closed than when we're open, which is not exactly how you want things to go. You can see we have started painting. All the brown in here is going to be blue, except for maybe these vents above me. We'll show this in a second. But it just looks so much better, at least I think it does, having that blue in here than the brown. We're going to paint these, of course, too. Now, I did not pick blue because it's my favorite color, or because of Blue Steel Real Estate, or because most of my shirts are blue or anything like that. It's because the UNC Bears are the local college here, and their colors are blue and gold. So we were trying to come somewhat close to their color. We didn't, match it exactly, but it's pretty close. And then that's kind of why we might also do gold on our vents, because they're brown as well. Everything was just brown in here. You can see we took down the advertisements along the coolers that were for the old store and some pretty old, beer and different things. We still sell, but they're not quite as popular as they used to be. A lot of it was also Budweiser centered, and some people have talked about this. Yes, Budweiser is still kind of feeling the effects of their advertising campaign from a couple years ago that caused so much problems. It is definitely still way down in sales compared to where they used to be. So as a liquor store owner, I want to appeal to as many people as possible, and if people are still feeling, ill will towards Budweiser, we definitely don't want that to be kind of our main base for advertising. And for my other store, we're definitely selling less Budweiser than we did before. And they kind of cut down on their deliveries and their customer service a little bit too, I feel like, where that's made it a little bit frustrating as well. So, like I said, we're painting everything brown. Probably going to redo quite a bit of the shelving, different things, all that stuff. This is what the store looked like, not when I first bought it, but a few days ago before we started the remodel. So it always feels like things should go faster than they do, but this is a big store, a lot of work, a lot of moving things, a lot of masking and taking down of items and moving liquor. So it is quite a lot amount of work. As far as the liquor license goes and what happens there. So the police came yesterday, called me up, said, hey, you turned in your liquor packet on Monday. We have some paperwork for you. So I was thinking, maybe they've got my temporary liquor license, because in Colorado, it's very tricky transferring the license. You've got to kind of work on the old license while you get yours transferred. It's really impossible to do it all at once because you've got to get waivers and affidavits from all kinds of different people and different documents and different things. They're just, you can't get them right away. It's just unfeasible. So the state liquor department was in contact with me this whole time. The city liquor department was in contact with me this whole time. They knew what was going on. I was keeping them abreast of the whole situation. Had a meeting with the city, turned in all my paperwork, thought everything was good, paid my fees, and then the police come, and they were not giving me my temporary license. They're giving me a cease and desist order to immediately stop selling alcohol because I already had one liquor store. So I have a liquor store in Pierce, as I've talked about over and over again, and their paperwork said you're not allowed to have more than one. You can only have one. And so I had read the Colorado Liquor Guide Handbook, which I thought was a pretty good source coming from the state. And in that handbook, it does say you can have 3 after 22 or 2 after 2017, and then they're going to 4 after 2027. That's what it says in that handbook. Well, I don't know if the handbook is wrong or they just left out information or I missed that information, but I had other people saying, hey, it says right here in this handbook you're good. And I'm like, that's what I thought too. I had emailed the state liquor board as well and said, hey, am I okay to have a second one? Just want to make sure. This is how I'm interpreting the rules. And they said, we can't give you legal advice. You need to talk to an attorney. So I guess I should have talked to an attorney, but I just have a hard time paying, $400 an hour for advice on different things. It's pretty simple, and, I feel like could be given to me pretty quickly. But anyway, I guess I should have paid a bunch more money to get the advice from an attorney. Kind of reminds me of when the county, asked them about ADA bathrooms, if I needed them for a certain use, and they told me to hire an architect and have the architect study their code, and then they'll let me know if it's okay if I need ADA bathrooms or not, but they couldn't tell me. Now, they can tell me if I do something wrong. I know that from experience. But, so, we got shut down. I did talk to an attorney. He said, we can fix it. It's not the end of the world. There's some workarounds. I know other people who do it, so we're getting to work on that right now. How long it will take, I'm not sure. Hopefully not too long. But, it's just a little frustrating that the guidebook says one thing, and then there's, I guess, other places. Basically, what the law says and what my letter says, I would have to own a liquor store prior to 2017 in order to have another liquor store. But that's not what the Colorado handbook says. So it's confusing. Now, I guess they did that because they were allowing grocery stores to have beer and wine at the time, and they thought that would limit competition for regular liquor store owners somehow, even though a lot of the grocery stores and like Costco's have a different type of liquor license. They have a drugstore license where you can have more liquor stores. You can have up to 8, I think. If you have a pharmacy in your shop too, you can have a drugstore liquor license. It's all very confusing. And before, you can't have a bar and a liquor store together. I learned that when I tried to buy a bar. But at the time I was talking to the liquor commission, like, yeah, you can have multiple liquor stores, you can have multiple bars, you just can't have, one of each. And so all this information and stuff up to this point had led me to believe I could have up to 3. And I know other people who have multiple stores, and so it's a little tricky navigating that, but I think we can still get through it, and hopefully rather quickly. Now, the police were very nice. They're very sympathetic, and they actually said, hey, there's some ways to work around this. Talk to an attorney right away, and they can help you out. So I don't blame the police. I don't blame the city, because I think they're just following the laws that they're given. But it's just so weird that the state handbook says what it says. So here you can see what this all looked like before we took it all off. And so I may go through some of that paperwork and stuff and see if we can get more clarification after this is all done and figured out. But for right now, we're just trying to focus on getting back open again, hopefully. And like I said, there's some workarounds and some ways to do that. And I'll talk more about that, hopefully when we get that all figured out and fixed too. So hopefully we'll have some good news here in the future. Of course, we'll come back and keep showing how it looks with the remodeling. And then, we've been posting sales data every day on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and some of that on YouTube here too. I'm still going to keep posting sales data. It's not going to look very good, but I'm still going to keep posting it. So we might have a lot of zeros, but that's okay. We're still going to track it.